Donald Trump has had 4 White House chiefs of staff, each of them unqualified for that position. Each of them disgraced themselves in that position by publicly lying for Donald Trump. Each of them was the worst possible White House chief of staff until the next one turned out to be even worse. And now comes Ron Klain, a summa cum laude graduate of Harvard Law School who served as a Supreme Court clerk before becoming chief counsel to the Senate Judiciary Committee overseeing the confirmation of Supreme Court justices and all federal judges, then serving as chief of staff to Attorney General Janet Reno in the Justice Department, then moving to the White House as chief of staff to Vice President Al Gore, and then served as chief of staff to the vice president once again when Joe Biden became vice president in 2009. President Obama named Ron Klain as his White House Ebola response coordinator at the height of a frightening public health crisis that Ron Klain and President Obama managed to control. There is no Ron Klain in the Trump administration. There are incompetent buffoons whose highest hope is that they make it to Dancing with the Stars like Sean Spicer did. There are corrupt profiteers like the president himself, and there are pathological liars like the president himself. One of those pathological liars has been installed at the Justice Department this week by Donald Trump for the remaining 70 days of havoc that Donald Trump might try to bring to that department. Retired Army Brigadier General Anthony Tata, who has called President Obama a Muslim and a terrorist leader, cannot do any serious damage to the Pentagon in 70 days. There are too many smart people there to stop him. And if he tries to do that, he will go to prison. Because on January 21st, the Inspector General of what will then be the Biden Defense Department and the Inspectors General of every department of the federal government will begin investigating everything that the Trump crew has been up to. Everything, every big and little thing. And the Inspectors General will refer any criminal findings to the Biden Justice Department for investigation by the FBI and prosecution by the Biden Justice Department. And so it's all over. The reign of the corrupt is over. The reign of the incompetent is over. And if they try anything on the way out the door, Joe Biden and Ron Klain are going to assemble a team that will track them down and make them pay. Now, most traditional observers and respecters of the transition process are outraged, understandably, at Donald Trump's behavior in losing this election. I count myself among the traditional respecters of the transition process, but I, for one, am grateful. I mean, grateful for the disgraceful marker that Donald Trump is leaving for history, the marker that I predicted he would, never giving a concession speech, not facilitating the transition, not attending the inauguration of Joe Biden. None of those things will endanger this country in any way. None of those things will worsen the reputation of this country in any way, whose reputation could not be more damaged internationally than it was 4 years ago when the Electoral College handed over the presidency to the person who came in second in the vote. Donald Trump is not tarnishing our international reputation now by what he has done since Election Day. It is impossible for Donald Trump to make our international reputation any worse than he has already made it for 4 years. No one in the world is surprised that Donald Trump is behaving badly. All of our most powerful and important allies are calling Joe Biden and congratulating him on his win. Today, added to that list were the leaders of Australia, Japan, and South Korea calling in their congratulations to President-elect of the United States, Joe Biden. South Korea's very existence depends on the President of the United States. South Korea does not fear Donald Trump's wrath about placing a congratulatory call to Joe Biden because South Korea knows it's all over for Donald Trump. 5 days, 5 full days and nights of silence from Donald Trump. The man who wants to hear his own voice more than anyone alive has not allowed you to hear his voice for 5 days and nights for the first time in the history of his political career. Silence. The silence is the concession speech. The concession was never going to be words, not from Donald Trump. The silence is the concession speech. Take it for the gift that it is. 5 full days and nights of your life without the sound of that voice. If you were dancing in the streets this weekend, you should still be dancing in the streets because nothing bad has happened since then. Yes, Donald Trump being president is dangerous, but that is not a new danger. And I promise I'll tell you as soon as I see something dangerous happen in this transition. 140,000 people a day getting infected with COVID-19 is the real danger this country is facing, not the petulant president whose days are numbered. Now, many people are scared by things that they haven't seen before. That's understandable. But don't be scared by Donald Trump's silence. It is the silence of a terrified man who is desperately trying to raise money online, on the lie, that he has not yet lost the presidential election. It is the silence of a man constantly sending out the neediest emails in political history with pathetic subject lines like, "I need you right now," all to trick gullible people out of their money. It is the silence of a man who is terrified of what his life will become on January 20th. He will spend next year as a defendant in important civil lawsuits against him and possibly as a criminal defendant in New York State. He will leave the White House under a cloud of pardons for his associates, for his children, and most importantly, for himself. And he only has a couple of weeks left to try to trick people out of their money, to pretend to fight the result of a presidential election that has been decided.